I'd like to ask you a quick question about Good Time, which I also want to tell you is at this point my favorite film of the year. And no, seriously, and your performance in it is my favorite performance of the year so far. And I'm not just saying that because you're my friend. I genuinely think that the immediacy of it, the desperation of your character, and the visual filmmaking that the Safdie brothers managed in that movie is astonishing. Tell me, how did it come to you?
God, that was a difficult one to start. You're so eloquent.
Could say thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks. I'm already trying to deflect. It's like your performance is also my favorite performance of the year. How did I get it? I saw a still on a website. I don't think I'm allowed to mention the name. Just on the banner of the website from their last movie, of Ariel Holmes, who is the lead in their last movie, Heaven Knows What, and. It was a really, really good still, but it's one of those stills where it was the first promotional image of the movie, and I kept expecting to read the blurb, like Czech filmmaker, or it looked like something that was very European art house. And then when I saw that they were from New York, I was like, huh. And I just liked the fact that they were promoting their movie with that as the first image.
Right.
And I got their email address and kind of sent an extremely effusive email, which is, I think, kind of what became a part of the character, because I literally hadn't seen anything they'd made,
right,
and didn't know anything about them, and sent an email saying, I just know, I know you're the ones, and I'll do anything in the next thing. And they're like, why? Like, what have you seen? I've seen nothing.
So you had not seen Heaven Knows What? You hadn't seen that?
It wasn't even out. No,
I see.
The trailer hadn't even come out.
Right.
And so I met them, and then they came to LA, and just before they came to LA, the trailer for Heaven Knows What came out, the teaser trailer. It was such a great teaser. And we had a meeting, and they were trying to do the movie they're doing now, and then just kind of, I guess, in that meeting, started thinking, oh, there's potentially an idea in this kind of low-level hustler, criminal kind of thing.
Let me do all the talking.
Hey fellas, where are we going? Can I talk to you for a minute? First of all, could you take your hoodie off for me?
Wait, what did we do wrong?
No,
hey, you with the black sweatshirt.
Yo, my man, turn around.
He's all right, we didn't do anything wrong.
Get back here!
How did you get involved in Only Films I've Signed Up For?
I received the script, and the film's about Gloria Graham, and I'd never heard of Gloria Graham or who Gloria Graham was, and I certainly hadn't heard of Peter Turner, who's the character that I play in the movie. So when I actually got it, I genuinely thought that this is the most bizarre piece of fiction that I've ever read. What a bizarre kind of subject for a film. And it was only when I met our producer, Barbara Broccoli, who knew both of them personally while they were together. And I did a little reading with her and Paul McGuigan, our director, and Annette Bening. And in that reading, Barbara Broccoli, the producer, was crying. I was like, I don't think it was that bad. I don't think it was that terrible. And she gave me Peter's memoir on which it's based. And then she told me, that she knew them, and I could see how important the film was to her and how personal it was to her. And I think whenever you have someone working on the film who comes from that place, I think you just know that there's going to be kind of extra special care taken to make sure that it's done well, and extra special attention to the love story that is in it. And we went from there, basically.
How was Paul McGuigan?
Paul McGuigan was, as a filmmaker, was great. He brings so much enterprise and so much film language to it, and so many ideas. And on paper, it's a kind of difficult movie. For most of the time, it's Annette Bening in bed and deteriorating in health, and me trying to take care of her. But also the film deals a lot with memories and dreams and passages of time, and how memories really can't be trusted because they're only seen from one perspective, and that doesn't tell the entire story. And we had practical sets that moved. So
was it all set? Was it all shot in London?
We shot all of the movie in Pinewood. So if it's a beach in Malibu, it's Pinewood. If it's like LAX terminal, it's Pinewood. And I think he brought that film language to it. He really kind of made it a moving piece that traveled through time quite eloquently.
Oh, so you like disco dancing?
Oh God. Well, I like drunk dancing.
Oh, so if I make you a drink, you come into my room and hustle with me? I need a partner for my dance class.
I have a question about Good Time, which I think is because I'm just fascinated with the way that you guys achieved it. I think you've mentioned this to me before. If you haven't, I'm mistaken. But when you were filming, would you actually have permits to shoot in the locations that you had? Would they know? Would the people around you? Were there extras? Were there supporting artists that would be working with you? Did they know who you were? Because you said something that you were always trying to kind of hide yourself in plain sight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely. I can never really figure out the permit deal.
Right.
Because I think sometimes, when I first started doing press for it, and I would say like, yeah, we never had permits, we sure the entire time. I noticed the directors feeling very uncomfortable.
Right.
So I
They're like,
we had permits for everything.
Right. Well, I guess what I'm saying is that the film feels incredibly voyeuristic in a way where everything's so immediate and dangerous, especially, you never know what you're going to do. There's a rawness, it's right on the edge of stuff, and it always feels like that feels relatively kind of unprepared.
Yeah, they definitely have that. I'm not quite sure. I mean, you never really know. There's not a calm before the storm. There's not a calm before action. It's literally just like there's just things rolling all the time. I think it helps as well to have when you have two sibling directors and they both very much direct like at the same time, and so you kind of at any point when you have two people sort of arguing with each other and both kind of getting excited and inspired at the same time, and then trying to channel everything into one person. You're like,
right.
But yeah, I mean, there was definitely some. I think we'd get like a permit for one area, and then just sort of
shoot off the edges of it.
Keep stretching it out.
I was going to ask you about working with Benny Safdie, who, to be fair, almost, and I'd say very almost, kind of steals the movie from you, because he's extraordinary.
You're amazing.
In his stillness, and his portrayal of that character is heartbreaking. What was that like to work with, these are young filmmakers, made one film before, and also he's taking on this other obligation of acting in the movie with you, and it's an important part.
Yeah. I mean, I really trusted them by the time, because initially, the first draft of the script was totally different, and Buddy Duress, who plays Ray in it, was it was supposed to be me and him being brothers.
Right.
And like I thought Buddy was so good and heaven knows what, but I was like, yeah, I'm down. I mean, it's just so easy when you trust a director, and it's like I'd completely just give myself up to it. But also, a bunch of people auditioned for Nick, brother. But then when Benny also did an audition.
That's awkward.
And
auditioning for your brother.
But his tape, and I was shooting Lost City of Z when they sent me the tape.
Yeah.
And Benny can just he can turn on that character and just be in it all day.
Yeah.
And so it's just impossible to compete with.
It is astonishing.
Yeah. And I was just watching this 45-minute long improvisation in a really difficult character. I was like, I mean, it's kind of like genius. I mean, you kind of